Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, welcome to DPWH Sorsogon 2nd District Engineering Office. So today, this afternoon, we have a pre-bid conference for contract ID 26FL0043, construction, completion of public water supply system, Barangay Recto, Bulan, Sorsogon, Barangay Recto, Bulan, Sorsogon. So present for today's pre-bid conference are as follows: Joanna Sicalagos, back chairman.
Present.
Yours truly, Levi Dipura Jr., back vice chair. Leia Ipontanares, back member. Cecil Bulisin, back member. Russell Joy Rocha, planning representative. Lian Albay, IT.
Present.
Glenn El Inicio, back secretariat. Nathaniel Allegre, back secretariat. So Madam Chair, meron na po tayong quorum at wala po tayong present na contractor.
Okay, since we have a forum, this pre-bid conference is now called to order. The agenda for this pre-bid meeting are as follows. First, basic contract data, requirements and bidding documents, eligibility criteria, documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals, criteria and procedures for the eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award, questions, comments from bidders and replies of BAC and other representatives of the procuring entity, summary of proceedings including bid bulletins to be issued, common reasons for bidders' disqualifications and other matters. And to discuss the basic contract data is Engineer Russell Butchak.
Thank you, ma'am. For basic contract data with contract ID 26FL0043 with contract name Construction Completion of Public Water Supply System Barangay Recto, Bulan, Sorsogon with contract location at Barangay Recto, Bulan, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract is 2,970,000 pesos. Source of fund is the INFRA 2026 with 62 calendar days as the contract duration, with 12 calendar days of predetermined unworkable number of days. Cost of bidding documents is 5,000 pesos. Submission of bids is scheduled on July 14, 2026 until 10 a.m. and opening of bids shall proceed immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work is WSL2 or Water Supply Level 2. For the project description, for scope of works, the project involves the construction of the public water supply system in Barangay Recto, Bulan, Sorsogon through the construction of a 3 meter by 3 meter elevated reinforced concrete water tank with installation of submersible pump system and establishment of communal faucet distribution lines. The scope of work includes site preparation, excavation, concrete and structural works, installation of HDP or GI pipes, and fittings, valves, electrical and control system installation, construction of communal faucet stations, testing and commissioning, and all the other necessary works required for a complete and operational water supply system. For the objectives, to provide a sustainable, accessible, and reliable water supply system for the residents of Barangay Recto, Bulan, Sorsogon. For the more specific objectives, we have the following: to construct an elevated reinforced concrete water tank for the water storage and gravity distribution, to install a submersible pump system connected to an intake tank, to establish an efficient water distribution system supplying communal faucets within the barangay, to improve access to safe water for the community, to enhance sanitation, hygiene, and public health conditions among residents, and to reduce the burden and time spent by residents in fetching water from distant sources. Shown are the photos for the geotag photos taken during site validation as well as the environmental clearance. We also have the certifications that reflects that the project follows the updated CMPD second semester and other updated related resources. For the detailed engineering design plan, we have the cover page of the plan, the general layout plan, and the typical details for the said project. For the requirements of bidding documents, instruction to bidders or ITB, General Conditions of Contract or the GCC, Special Conditions of Contract, bid data sheet, specifications, the DPWH Blue Book, Volume 2 and 3, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. We have here shown is the bid data sheet. All are downloadable through the DPWH website, all the field notes. And we also have the special conditions of the said contract. And we also have the bill of quantities. For the minimum manpower requirement, for the project manager, general experience must have handled infrastructure projects. For the project engineer, must be a DPWH accredited project engineer. The same goes with the materials engineer, must also be a DPWH accredited materials engineer. For the general construction foreman, must have handled similar projects. And for the safety and health officer, must have undergone the 40 hours basic construction safety and health training. For the minimum equipment requirement, for the dump truck and all models, the required number of units is 1 unit. For the water truck or pump, 1 unit. Payloader, 1 unit. Bulldozer, 1 unit. Cargo or service truck, 1 unit. And loaded trailer truck, 1 unit.
Key points. Lowest calculated responsive bid or LCRB will be used as the criteria for award. The amount of the advance payment is 15% of the total contract price to be made in lump sum. All progress payments shall first be charged against the advance payment until the latter has been fully exhausted at the option of the procuring entity. The contractor shall submit the program of work to the procuring entity within 10 days of delivery from the notice of award. For the submission and receipt of bids, meron po tayong 2 envelope system. First envelope shall contain the eligibility documents and technical documents, and the second envelope must contain the financial proposal. Bid validity is 120 calendar days from the date of the opening of bids. Sealing and marking of bids. The first envelope shall be marked original technical, and the second envelope must be marked original financial. And the 2 envelope must be enclosed in one big mother envelope with marked original bid. Each envelope shall contain the name of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient back or procuring entity, and the do not open before date or time of opening of bids. Same goes to the copy 1, first envelope, copy 1 technical, and the second envelope, copy 1 financial. Each envelope shall contain the name of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient back or procuring entity, and the do not open before date or time of the opening of bids. Both the original bid and the copy 1 bid must be enclosed in a mother envelope, and each envelope shall contain the name of the contract to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient back or procuring entity, and the mark do not open before date or time of opening of bids. For the unsealed and unmarked bid, not compressed and password protected shall not be accepted. Improperly sealed and marked or improperly compressed and password protected shall be accepted. For the submission and receipt of bids, modification of bids before the deadline of submission of bids, bidder shall not be allowed to retrieve its original bid and submit new bid equally sealed, properly identified, linked to its original bid, and marked as a modification. For the withdrawal of bids, letter of withdrawal must be received prior to the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For bids withdrawn within the interval between the deadline and the expiration of bid validity, the bid security shall be forfeited. For electronic bid submission, bidders shall send another bid equally secured, properly identified, and labeled as a modification of the one previously submitted. The time indicated in the latest bid receipt page generated shall be the official time of submission. So meron po tayong 2 modes of submission of bids. First, through manual submission to be submitted at the Box Secretariat Office, DPWH Sorsogon 2nd BEO, Barangay Payawin, Gubat, Sorsogon, or through electronic submission through our email electronicbids_sorsogon2@dpwh.gov.ph. For the eligibility criteria, the following persons or entities shall be allowed to participate in the bidding of infrastructure projects: duly licensed Filipino citizens or sole proprietorships, partnerships duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and of which at least 60% of the interest belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Cooperatives duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, or persons or entities forming themselves into a joint venture. Foreign bidders may be eligible to participate in the procurement of infrastructure projects when provided for under any treaty or international or executive agreement as provided in Section 4 of the Act and the IRR of RA 12009, must have a valid PCAM license, must have an SLCC that is similar to the contract to be bid of at least 50% of the ABC. The SLCC shall be supported by an owner certification of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the CPES or a similar performance and monitoring system. Contractors under small a and small b categories without similar experience, provided the cost of contract to be bid is not more than the ARCC of the registration, must have an NFCC of at least equal to ABC to be bid. Eligibility and technical documents to be submitted by bidders, stated in invitation to bid. Contractors or applicants who wish to participate in the bidding must be in the document request list of the PhilJEP's website and secure a printout copy showing that they are included in the list and are encouraged to enroll in the DPWH Civil Works application at the DPWH Procurement Service, 5th floor, DPWH Building, Bonifacio Drive, Port Area, Manila, while those already enrolled shall keep their records current and updated. The contractor's eligibility to bid on the project will be determined using the DPWH Contractor Profile Eligibility Process, or CPEP, and subject to further post-qualification. If registered in the DPWH CWA, here are the documents comprising the bid, PCAM license, and registration in case of joint venture, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts. With regards po sa mga ongoing and government and private contracts, any omission or non-disclosure of all its ongoing government and private contract shall be ground for disqualification. Statement of bidders SLCC and computation of NFCC, valid joint venture agreement and applicable. If not registered po sa DPWH CWA, first, PhilJEP Certificate of Registration, Platinum Membership, PCAB License and Registration in case of joint venture, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, statement of bidders SLCC, computation of NFCC, and valid joint venture agreement if applicable. For the mandatory requirements for bid security, validity is 120 calendar days. Cash or manager's check or bank draft or guarantee, 2% of ABC. Surety bond, callable on demand, 5% of ABC. Bid securing declaration, or the RA 12009 form. Make sure to use the updated form based on RA 12009. For project requirements, organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' personnel, list of contractors' major equipment units, owned, leased, under purchase agreement. Latest General Information Sheet or GIS reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission for corporations and ISO 9001:2015 certification of its latest version as applicable, and the Omnibus SORM statement duly notarized. So please also follow the updated form under RA 12009 of the Omnibus SORM statement. For the legal eligibility requirements for Class A, tax clearance, submission of BIR receipt for renewal of tax clearance will not suffice in lieu of a valid tax clearance requirement. Submission of provisionary tax clearance issued by the BIR for bidding purposes is not acceptable form of tax clearance. Statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts. Statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. The statement shall include all information required in the bidding documents. So, ito po yung new form ng ating bid securing declaration. So, any omission din po sa mga clauses na naka-indicate sa form shall be ground for disqualification. Same goes po sa omnibus form statement. So, please follow the updated form according po sa RA 1200. For the financial proposal, we have the bid form, summary of bid prices in the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of materials, labor, and equipment, cash flow by quarter or month, and payment schedule, other documents required in the bidding documents. So here's the financial proposal checklist. And for the detailed evaluation of bids, ang purpose po is to determine the lowest calculated bid by establishing correct calculated prices of bids and ranking calculated total bid prices from lowest to highest. This is a non-discretionary criterion, we shall include consideration of the completeness of bids and minor arithmetical corrections. Results shall be contained in the abstract of bids. So in case of discrepancies, bid price in figures versus bid price in words, the bid price in words shall prevail. Total price per item versus unit price for the item times quantity, the unit price for the item times quantity shall prevail. Stated total price versus the actual sum of prices of component items, actual sum of prices of component items shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate versus unit cost in the bill of quantities, the unit cost in the bill of quantities shall prevail. So for the no contact rule, prohibition on communication with bidders from bid evaluation until award of contract. For the post-qualification, the purpose is to determine whether the LCB complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding docs to be declared the LCRB. And the method is a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion shall be used to verify, validate, and ascertain all statements and documents submitted by the LCB. If a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that first, the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded a contract, and second, he or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. For the equipment verification, also to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment, where they can be inspected, and if any piece of equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified. Common reasons for bidders' disqualifications: late submission of bids without valid reason, and submission of patently insufficient bid, submission of an expired certificate of PhilJack's registration, or certificate of PhilJack's registration containing expired Class A legal and financial documents as determined during the eligibility screening. Failure to include certificate of employment, contract agreement among permanent personnel and staff of the firm, and curriculum vitae. Failure to submit required bid form, and submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents due to the non-inclusion and or omission of mandatory provisions and statements for the required bid forms. Submission of the bid form, bid securing declaration, omnibus sworn statement, and a joint venture agreement without the name, legal capacity, and signature of the bidder or its authorized representative. Nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required by the bidding docs. Failure to submit the required certification of key personnel as per Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012. Failure to comply with the required minimum number of key personnel and equipment. Failure to submit proof of ownership, lease, or purchase agreement of pledged equipment. Insufficient NFCC and insufficient SLCC. Thank you.
Okay, so may mga questions pa? Wala na. Since we have no more matters to discuss, this really